Welcome back everyone. You're watching the training week from June 16th, the most massive training week post shoulder operation. December, what was it? 2023. December 1st, 2023 was the shoulder op. So it's pretty much been 1.5 years. And we had our first competition at the end of this week. As you saw, obviously the weekly focus was that comp, which was coincidentally the World Championships trial. So that was a bit of a precious situation, that the first one after such a long time was carrying a big weight. Wasn't just any old comp, it was the World Championships trial for this year. And as I mentioned, I did reach the qualifying scores actually on both apparatus. So we can talk a little bit about that to start things off. But if you're new here, welcome. My name is Misha, and here I share my love for gymnastics, and I've been posting all of my training probably for around the last 4 or 5 years. So qualification scores, well, I don't remember them off the top of my head exactly, but it was somewhere in the mid to high 12 range, which you might think, oh, for World Championships that's pretty low. But the reality is, if you make a big mistake, if you fall, you're not going to reach that scores. And as we know, there's no guarantees really that you're going to hit your routine. So you know, a lot of people, as we watch this, look at this giant DME, fam. And even this one, much like last time, veered off a little bit to the left. So slowly it started changing. Where was I? Yeah, you know, people telling me, oh, you're going to be okay. You have nothing to worry about. But it's not so. It's not so at all. You know, I'm just as prone to making mistakes as anyone else. You know, and also I'm throwing some difficulty that I don't necessarily have consistently, like you see here on high bar, missing both the Gaylord 2 and the Pike Gaylord strategically, you know, comp week, so you're holding back a little bit, just being on the safe side. But yeah, the point being that you have to hit. Maybe on P-bar I didn't have to hit very clean because my start value is a bit higher. So I knew that on P-bar I just had to get through the routine, you know, from start to finish without falling, and I should be able to reach the score. And so I did, and you'll see that day one was actually a mess on P-bar, but somehow I still got 13.1 or something like that, which was the score. So on my first piece I managed to make it through, and that actually took a lot of pressure off of me for the rest of that weekend. You know, because if you imagine, let's say I stuffed up P-bar, I stuffed up high bar day one, and then I'm going into day two not having qualified, well, that's, you know, that's more pressure. That's more pressure to have to deal with. So there were no guarantees. Day one, well, let's just we'll wait until the end of the video where you'll see every single routine I did. 4 total routines over the entire weekend. And on a positive note, you know, nothing too major. We can say no falls in all 4 routines. There was definitely some major things and issues that occurred, but no falls. So all in all, I felt like, you know what, wow. Well, I'm 34 now. I was 33 at the time, but on the Monday after this week was my 34th birthday. So I gave myself a birthday present, and I qualified to the World Championships, fam. So, you know, at 33, 34, I thought, yep, I can still do this. I can still compete. That was probably one of the cleanest routines of the build-up. The only biggie there was just losing that line a bit, as always, in the giant DME. But everything else was pretty much top-notch. So you would have seen on Tuesday I kind of did the whole warm-up, one app, the second app, and then one touch compete, one touch compete. That pagan was the one touch, and here was attempt number 1. So because it was a taper week, meaning, you know, you go a bit lighter to recover and save some energy, some extra energy for comp day, I didn't do much in the second half of the week at all. So I knew that Tuesday was going to be my last kind of big sesh. And I wasn't necessarily planning to do 4 routines, but once I got in the gym, I remember feeling quite good, surprisingly. As you know, especially I'm reminded of Oceania 2021, where I just had the most shocking, tragic week or two before departing for the Oceania Championships. Usually my body kind of shuts down a little bit, but here comp week, and felt good on Tuesday. Felt great actually, and then pretty much took 3 days off. So you're not actually going to see anything on Thursday, Friday. We're going to jump straight into Saturday, which was day 1 of comp, after a little bit of floor and a little bit of pommel, and of course some strength. So a few more moments and we're gonna watch my first competition in a very long time, since 2023 World Championships. That was the last competition I did before this one, and I've said it before, but I can't believe how fast the time has gone. You know, I still remember that World Championships kind of like it was yesterday. I remember how it felt. I remember deciding to get surgery after the surgeon said, if it gets much worse, probably won't be able to operate, won't be able to put you back together. I remember all those things so clearly, and here I am, sitting on the other side of it. Sitting on the other side of having competed. And in retrospect, you know, I really enjoyed that year coming back. I loved it. I loved having the downtime. I think it was great that it was over summer. I was going outside every day, you know, sitting out in nature, breathing fresh air, because I was training less, you know, in a chalky gym. I loved coming back to some conditioning, and then of course I loved coming back to the gymnastics, to the Giants on high bar was probably the most memorable one. I made that short of my first Giants. Fam, what a journey. What a beautiful journey it was. No regrets. But now the build-up is over. The build-up is over and we're back into the grind. So warm-ups. Nice little stick in the warm-ups. Warmed up P-bar, warmed up high bar, and had to wait for apparatus. Had to wait floor, pommel rings, vault. The competition runs fairly fast. I don't remember exactly how long I waited, but it was challenging, you know. And I do remember when the boys were on rings, I think I came up and just maybe did like a handstand or something, and just checked how everything felt. So it's not like I was just sitting idle doing nothing the whole time. I was stretching around, trying to move a bit. And warm-ups went pretty well. So I was shooting, looks like I was shooting for the big routines since I warmed up that Pike Gaylord. There's Rory on pommel horse. Shout out to Rory, who unfortunately broke his ankles competing floor at this competition. We wish Rory all the best for his recovery. But here we go, fam. Day 1, the first routine. The first routine after a long time. Let's check it out. Great start. Here's the first risky bit. Oh, we're off, fam. We're off. But I know that I have one more shot. That first miss still counts as a D peach to handstand. And I managed to get it up second try. A bit shaky there. And then here, because I did 2 peach to 1 bars, the peach 1 bars travel forward quite a lot. So I had to do the reverse turn again. And at that point I was like, you know what, just finish this routine didn't do the giant Dyatlov, and if you notice, the giant shot over quite a bit, so I didn't hold the handstand, and that threw me off for the dismount. Came off a bit quicker than usual and just tucked it because I wasn't certain what was going to happen. Stood it up and got my 13. Got my 13. So, like, obviously very happy that I got the score, but at the same time not happy because I didn't do the routine that I had planned, and the nerves kicked in and took over. So high bar. You all know on high bar, adrenaline is a big factor for me. It makes me go way too far in my releases, so check out what I did, fam. I literally almost just donked my teeth into the bar. Did not want to go too far. Went early and legs were a mess, but caught it. Probably one of my better stoops. Not sure that I needed to split those legs. Same thing here, just did not want to miss and had to struggle for the giant. And after both of those struggles, I thought, okay, you're a bit tired, you know, you had to work really hard for the giant. And I thought, just finish this routine. Finish the routine, don't do the pike gaylord. And so I did. And really, besides those two close catches, there wasn't anything major, you know. There's obviously the struggle in the giants afterwards. You know, you're going to get a 0.3 for the elbows. You're going to get a 0.3 and more for the legs apart. But two routines where I stayed on. I had my score on both, actually. Hit the score on both. High bar just barely. I think I got like a 12.7 something. So I went into day two, you know, in a very comfortable spot, knowing that, okay, don't hold back. Don't hold back, even if you're tired, even if something goes off like it did on P-bar. Shoot for the big routine, shoot for the full difficulty. And as you'll see, you know, I was tired and clearly struggling in this warm-up. But, you know, didn't care. No matter what, I was going to shoot for the full difficulty. And I conserved some energy here, didn't bother warming up the pike gaylord. I warmed it up pretty well the previous day. And so I thought I'd just save it for the real turn. Last warm-up, and then we are watching P-bar day 2, where I think 13.8 was the score. So here we go. Day 2. This is the one touch. Looks like we filmed the one touch. Shout out to Nico, who did some of my camera work. Nico's an excellent, I think Nico's a level 8 gymnast here in New Zealand. So yeah, I guess that's all the news. I guess once again, you know, thank you for following me. Thank you for watching my journey. Thank you for sharing in the love of the sport. I think I love it more now at 34 than I did when I was 24, fam. You know, there's not as much pressure that I'm putting on myself. I've learned to enjoy the trainings more. Not to say that things aren't terrifying, but you know, but fam, I love this. I love this, and it's going well. So I'm thankful that it's going well, and I'm going to continue doing it. How far can we take it, fam? How far can we take it before the physical decline begins? So the only real complaint here, there's a bit of strength there, but as always, it's that giant Diami. So way over, lost the line, legs were apart. So I don't know, we're probably going to be able to add at least 0.3, just if I do it relatively clean. Doesn't even need to be perfect. Maybe 0.5 if the giant Diami goes really well. So definitely could be sitting in the low 14s. And that's as much as I can ask for right now. A bit far on the pagan. Warm up the old back for the stoops, and off we go. Again, shooting for the full diff no matter what. Here we go. much better. Probably just a 0.1 leg split there, but a very nice distance. Flat on the stoop half and sideways, but unfazed, fam, unfazed. We're shooting for full depth no matter what. Managed a good giant out of that. And this one I did not want to miss. I did not want to miss, so man, I caught with my head like under the bar there. Kept it going, and here's where the antics happened. Slip. Oh, there's a story there. So right before I went, it was Josh. Josh did his routine, and after his routine he said, oh, the bar is just like caked, meaning there's just too much chalk in this one spot, and I could literally see where that spot was, so I made mental note of it. Unfortunately, I ended up exactly on that spot on the Zoli Min. So I was being a bit careful on the Zoli Min, and I caught it in overgrip with my right hand, but didn't turn my wrist. Didn't like roll my wrist under in the giant. So when I pulled for the next one, off I went. So probably lost quite a lot on all that, but the routine was there. So this was, look at that, head under the bar, close. And there you have it, fam. There you have it. First competition week done. Lots of plans for the next few weeks. Thank you for your support. Massive thank you to patrons. And it's time to give a little shortly for the fundraising. All the best. Till next time.